All right, we're back for another episode of the Art and Brothers podcast. Fellas, how you doing today?
We good, baby.
Gucci.
Okay. Yeah, I see that Ray's a little excited today, man. To get up on it, talk about the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It was a lot that happened down there in New Orleans. It was one thing wasn't happening was the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, and Andy and the whole shebang lost a big time game, 40-22. It's a lot to unpack from this game, you know. Let's go ahead and just give our thoughts on it. Keon, start us off today, man. Like, what was your thoughts when you was watching that game and watching what Philly was able to do to the Chiefs so easily?
When I was watching that game, it came down to me how dominant the D line was getting pressure with four. They made Mahomes uncomfortable all night. You can see he got happy feet. And they rushed where they was disciplined, where they maintained, they rushing lanes. They didn't get out wide, letting them break out, because he liked to extend plays, and they was covering everything short. Because they know a lot of teams, when you play them, they want to Pat Mahomes and them eat you up like with them little short passes, get like 5 yards on first down. They was on it. They were taking Kelce away, everything short away, and then they was getting pressure with four. And so it was just shocking to see how they dominated their O-line. And them Georgia boys, Philly did a great draft of drafting the last 3-4 years. And then on the offensive side for Philly, they was like, we gonna take away Barkley, and Jalen Hurts stepped up and showed the world, man. Okay, he was making timely throws. I think he probably made like one mistake. He threw an interception, but for other words, he was making the right plays. If it was running with his feet or getting it out to the hot route or just hitting or one-on-one receivers. So I was shocked. I wasn't shocked that Philly won. I was just shocked how they dominated them. Like it wasn't even close. Like the score was saying a blowout, but still, it was like, I think Patrick Mahomes them probably had like, 25, 40 yards in the first quarter. So it was a well-put defensive performance. I ain't saw a defensive line probably play like that with four, probably that New York Giants team, how they did Brady in the Super Bowl without even having to blitz. Their team didn't blitz not one time. So that was what I took away from the game.
Yeah, it was definitely a dominating performance. And over the last few years, bro, everything that the Philadelphia has together has hit, whether it's from the draft picks, whether it's trading for C.J. Gardner-Johnson, getting Zach Bond from free agent from the Saints, like dude, breakout player of the year, getting Saquon. And for me, what I really took away, bro, it's another Super Bowl that Pat Mahomes has struggled. Like if you look at his stats on just the surfaces, he has struggled on every single Super Bowl. Now he might have made a few plays here and there in each game to win, the 3 Super Bowls he won, but he has not played well. This is another example of they gotta show up that O-line with KC, bro. Every year you gotta continue to tweak that O-line because Philly came at him, dog. Like the score don't even indicative of how blowout it was. It was big. It was blowout more than the score. And like you said, like it was a dominating performance from a defensive standpoint. It took everything away. I think what helped Philly, KC never tried to even run the ball at all for the most part. I know the game got kind of out of the way, so it kind of took away the running. But you saw how Philly did. Philly never got all per se running the ball, but they stuck with it. Saquon might not even have 100 yards, but he had like 20, 25 carries. Jalen stepped up, made big plays, throws. And, shout out to Philly, man. It was their year. They hit on all their draft picks. They hit on all their free agent picks. And it was their year, man. But if I'm KC, Pat got to get it right in these Super Bowls, bro, because he's not playing well.
Yeah, I think when we talked about this last week, I was very concerned about the Kansas City's right and left tackle. I watched it when you watched the game against the Texans. The Texans actually played really well. They just didn't have the offensive firepower added with some penalties that aided the Chiefs, and they didn't have the O line that Philly has to really dominate that game. But I did think that the Texans gave a blueprint because their DMs was getting after them, Will Anderson Jr. and Hunter. So it was a game plan that was out there with the front four if you just stick to it, and if you also have the offensive team that can move the ball. Did I think 34-0 at one time? No. Like, that's the thing about it. The game ended up being 40-22, but it was literally 34-0 when Devontae Smith caught that touchdown the back in the end zone. Like, it was a romp, and nobody can expect that level of dominance by a team that has a lot of talent, but didn't have a lot of answers at that point. Like, they're a very talented team, but we still was asking questions about Jalen Hurts. We were still asking questions about what happens if the Kansas City shuts down Saquon, which is what they did do. They did shut down Saquon to a certain degree. With the ball, would the passing game be enough? It was literally like a game plan that we just didn't expect, especially from the defensive side. And Key said it right. The front four pressure was relentless. Being able to go after Patty with four players, not having to expose your back end, and then the mistakes Patty Mahomes was making. Like the interception at the end of the half, huge mistake. The interception to Cooper DeJean, huge mistake. I mean, he was staring him down, the receiver. The drop passes, we saw the drop pass from D-Hop. It looked like Kelce, we're going to talk about it in a minute, just wasn't even in the game. I mean, they took Kelce completely out the game. If it wasn't for Worthy, they really didn't have any options. And then the running game. And then the fact that Andy Reid went away from the running game so easily, so quickly. Like, he didn't really stick to it to where he can create some form of normalcy within the offensive balance. He just kept going through the pass and hoping that Patty would make a play. It was just one of those games that it just all fell backwards. It felt bad for them. It went down. It went off bad. So it was just one of those things that you don't see it. You can think that can happen. You could think that it can happen for Kansas City, but just not like that, and not to an Eagles team that we all had questions on. That even in some places when they went against the Commanders, because of how they played against the Commanders in the last time game, some people thought the Commanders had a real good chance to win that game because of what Jaden Daniels did to them before. So, kudos to the Eagles, man. A very talented team. I don't think I put this on the question list, but here's my question around the group. Do you think this team can repeat, just as currently stated?
I think they can get back to a championship. It's hard to repeat in the NFL. People make moves, but looking at it in the NFC, they probably gonna still come in as the favorite, because everybody else in the NFC, in their division, the Cowboys ain't, they got a whole lot to rebuild. Washington, even though they had a nice run, they need some pieces. Who else in their division? But yeah, then over there on that side, you probably got the Rams. Who else really can challenge them? Detroit, maybe Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit.
So maybe Detroit. So they definitely got a great chance. They really ain't coming back with the same team to make the Super Bowl, at least make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they got a great chance because they have a great foundation, right? We've got a great O-line, a dominant D-line, a good running game, and a quarterback. Those are the things that can get you back to the Super Bowl. So they'll be one of the favorites to get back. The division is not super tough. The Central, with the Bears, the Green Bays, the Minnesota, Detroit, they're going to beat each other up. But yeah, they definitely got the nucleus and the foundation to definitely go back to back. They'll be a favorite.
I mean, I think it's more or less on, for me, can they replace how? Okay, so they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They had two really good coordinators. Now, both of those coordinators went to other organizations, but their teams haven't been as good at all. Like they haven't been as good as what they've seen with the organizations that they went with there with the Eagles. They haven't had the same level of success. So to me, it's really about what will those coordinators, when losing Kellen Moore to the Saints, what would that do to that team and bringing another voice, another offensive system, another strategy? Can they keep it going? Would the offensive coordinator be able to keep up with what they're currently doing as far as within their team? Or will it be a problem? Will it be some hiccups? Because normally it is. I think this is like Jalen Hurts' fifth OC, like fourth or fifth OC in the last 5 years, like something like that. I think the one they fired on last year. The other one 2 years ago he left. I think it's Sean Steen. I forgot his name.
Steichen.
There you go. He left. They fired one last year, and then this one Kellen Moore comes in. So that's 3 in 3 years. And it still got successful. I mean, they went to the playoffs all 3 years, but they weren't successful in winning the Super Bowl one. So will that be a problem? With Kellen Moore being gone would be an issue. That's where I feel like they could have some hiccups. It takes a while for somebody to figure out your offensive system, to be able to play at a high level in it, to call the right plays. Will that OC be able to utilize Saquon the same way? Always gonna have injuries and things of that nature, and then players leaving. I mean, that middle linebacker, I think he's on a 1 year deal. I think the will linebacker, I think he's on a 1 year deal. So somebody's gonna outbid them for him, right? And that's knowing how that works. People start taking apart your team, free agency hits. That's the nature of the game. That's the nature of the beast. And so, like, I do think they have a shot. They will be probably one of the most talented teams. I gotta see what Detroit looks like losing both coordinators. But they do bring back. They lost both coordinators, but they do bring back all their talent next year because they had so many players on IR the year before. So that's gonna be another thing. But man, and I think Detroit will be an issue. I mean, what's San Francisco look like next year? Right? Will the Rams trade Matthew Stafford? That's gonna be a question that's gonna be happening all season. So a lot of things are gonna happen. It's gonna be some quarterback movement that's gonna happen. So it's gonna be interesting. Will the Vikings are the same success? What about the one of the most younger teams of the Packers? What they're gonna look like? So yeah, I got a lot of faith in them, but I'm not trying to be on the Eagles love train. It's time to move on for the Eagles, bro. Like
they ain't trying to be on the brotherly love train, though.
Like, listen, man. Like
I
think they're good people. Yes, shout out to Temple University. I think they're good people. I like the way they enjoy their Super Bowl. But listen, this ain't no like, hey, we're all friends, kumbaya type stuff. It's time to try to beat them. Like nobody's trying to play with them dudes. We trying to beat them. I think if y'all should be feeling the same way.
No, I thought I saw you at the parade.
Nah, you didn't see me there. You should be feeling the same. If you feel like your team has a chance, you should be because my Eagles beat them. So I don't know. Now y'all didn't beat them. We beat them. So if you feel like we have a chance, you should be like, you know what? We have a chance to beat that team.
So we got a chance to be the top college team.
We'll see. We'll see how it looks like next year. All right, man. Let's get to the next question. Let's talk a little bit about Travis Kelce. There's been a lot of rumors stating that we all saw his performance. We saw how he just did not have any impact on that Super Bowl at all. No imprint. Key starts off again, man. You think this is it? This is our last time seeing Kelce play NFL football?
I think he probably got like one more year in him. I don't think he want to go out like he did in the playoff game, but he's definitely not the same player, which is understandable. Dude been playing a lot of football, bro. All those postseasons run, Super Bowl run, the wear and tear on his body, being a tight end, blocking and going across the middle, taking those hits. He's like 30-something, I think. So it's just showing you, bro, like he's not the same player anymore. And they got to find like another tight end that can take a lot of pressure off of him in the regular season where he can kind of be like how Grump was that year when Grump went to Tampa Bay, and just have him fresh for the playoffs. But I say I'll probably give him like one more season and see if they can get back to the Super Bowl and win another one, because dude probably gonna go down probably as the best, one of the best, if not number one or number two tight end of all time. Probably a lot of people probably have him at one with the stats and the Super Bowls and the touchdowns and the big time things he did in the playoffs. So I'll probably give him one more year, and then after that I see he'll retire.
Yeah, I just think right now he's talking out of emotion. Emotion, Super Bowl loss. He probably felt that he didn't do much or nothing in the game. And I think it all depends, it all was, Patty didn't have a great game to get him the ball. Philly had a great scheme to, put people around him to make it difficult. But I just think, give it some time. I think he'll be back. He had a very productive season, had almost 100 catches. He's not elite like he used to be, and it's understandable, but everybody, has that time where all the time catches up with you. But I think he got another couple years. He don't take a lot of big hits per se, but the grind of these last 6 years, making deep playoff runs, he's probably played an extra season with all the playoff games. But I just think he's just now talking out of emotion. It's still raw. You just lost the Super Bowl, but I definitely think he'll be back. Maybe probably saying it's get a new deal out of KC. I don't know. But I think he got 1 more 2 years left in him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know, 2 years. I think this next season maybe it was last season. I think it was been in the league like 14 years, right?
Something like that.
I think so. And listen, he is Kansas City Chief. He's Mr. Kansas City, Mr. Swifty himself. I just do feel like the way he played is just indicative of like they just don't have that many weapons. I mean, once you take out Wright, who's the, that long distance, the big play hitter that he is, everything else is sort of a struggle. And it's been like that all season. Now, if they can convince him, bring bringing back Rashid Weiss would be, help him as far as getting more open and getting more looks. Because now you have, Worthy. Now you have Worthy and Rice. Now you have both of those guys. You're not gonna be double like you was before. He'll always be able to have, good games here and there where he has a plus 100 yards. I think it's just more or less on now he needs to manage his expectations, and the Chiefs need to manage the expectations of him. Like, I don't think he's a, like 150 type receiving yards, or 100 yards per game. But, he'll give you 60. He'll give you clutch catches. And that's the next step for him. So, he's still a Hall of Famer, even if he retired tomorrow. I do agree with you guys. I think it was just emotion speaking, because they just look so bad. I mean, he looked bad. They look bad. Him and Kelce, and Mahomes looked like they weren't on the same page at all. And it just showed. And so, unfortunately for him, just unfortunate for that team, and especially him and Mahomes, they've been just braggadocious nature they had over the years. People just don't care. We don't care if you retire. We don't care if you because or you win, because you've just been so annoying in winning. So unfortunately, people can't really embrace that he is a Hall of Fame type player, man. But I think he'll figure it out. I think his brother came back 1 more year after the Super Bowl because of the fact that he just felt like he couldn't do it. He can't leave like that, losing the Super Bowl. So, I think he'll follow the same footsteps. And then after that, he'll have a luxurious career in the media when he gets out of there, because he does have a great show. So, but good luck to him. You know what I mean? Not our problem. Sorry, bud. You'll be all right.
Yeah, he's just speaking out emotion, man.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that, man. That's what sometimes you do. You can't. That's the problem with life. You can't speak out of emotion all the time. Is there any other thing you guys want to talk about the Super Bowl? Oh no, let's talk about the halftime show. Yeah, I'm glad Keon on, because that's what I want to really hear about. Key, man, what you thought about the halftime show? What's your impression?
I thought the halftime show was like a little mid show. I thought he could have did better songs. I got the whole concept, the whole thing, the messages wise. But for a halftime show, I feel like The crowd was dead. I felt like, other than not like it was songs he could have did that he didn't do. Um, but and I'm not really a big Kendrick person anyway, so I listen a couple of songs here and there, but I ain't about to be like, bro, put that Kendrick on. You know what I'm saying? So uh, just for I thought the pregame show was better than the halftime show. It could have been a little. I think he could have did it, brought a little more people out, kind of like Drake and Snoop and them did in Cali, to get a variety of. Either you want to bring some more West Coast people out or whatever. But yeah, I gave the show. I said it was mid.
Yeah, it was solid. I mean, after digest all what everybody how he broke down the show, it definitely had meaning. But like you said, Kendrick had bangers. I think he should have performed those. But at the end of the day, it was a decent show at best, and it had meaning. But like I said, some people like Kendrick, some people don't. To me, I don't think he give you enough. He give you a few songs, but that's it for me. Like, I'm not a big huge fan. Like he say, he'll give you a couple songs, but that's about it, really, honestly. But it was a decent show at the end of the day.
Well, I'm actually a Kendrick fan. I thought the show had great meeting, great message. The performance was cool, but it was boring. that's what it was to me. It was a boring. I'm watching people on social media when I see it, they're dancing. I'm like, I mean, it
wasn't crip walking, dog.
It was boring, dog. Like I don't like. Really, honestly, if you were doing, and here's my opinion. It's just an opinion, folks. It ain't reality, but in my opinion, if you were doing all that, you were just being extra. Like, you were just trying to make it like, oh, I'm trying to make it great. Like, it was not. It was boring. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just a boring show. Like, it had meaning. I love the Samuel Jackson as Uncle Sam. I love the when he bring what's her name, SZA. Sometimes we call her Season, because I don't know the difference. But it was boring. Like, it was boring. It was. Yeah, I got to a point where I was just kind of like, I was either dozing off, or I was just kind of like, all right, bro, I got other stuff to do. It was not as exciting as people tried to make it out to be, and that's my opinion. I only could live by through my opinion, my experience. But my experience said this is boring, and yeah, I mean, people were, they were over the top about it. But I love the message. I love the message. I love the level of performances when you look at the cinema of it. Right, where you have the black people making American flags and stuff like that. Stand on the black. I got the message. But stand on the black, the American flag. Stand on the black. America stands on the black of black people, especially when it comes to slavery. And absolutely, I thought his message was well felt, well played out, well thought out, well scripted. I thought it was amazing, but the performance was boring. It wasn't. It was not Dr. Dre when he did L.A. It was none of that. When he brought out Snoop and Mary J, Eminem, and 50, it was none of that. And he got bigger songs, so I thought him just exclusively focusing on the song from the last album mostly. I wasn't in favor of that either. Like, I didn't really want to hear the song by Mustard. I didn't want to hear the Mustard. I really don't get that song that much. Like, I really don't think it's that great of a song. Like, I think it's average at best. And I think people just making it bigger than what it is, because of the moment we are, especially with him battling Drake, right? Yep. I think that's just made it like, oh, like, we're gonna make it bigger. But I do think he's a phenomenal artist, and he's got not a couple of songs. He's got anthems of music. Like, he definitely is a very talented, gifted, and a great performer. He's rock solid in that. But yeah, I thought it was more. Sorry, folks. It was. Yeah, I wasn't.
And I don't think we're gonna get another black. I don't think we're gonna get another black artist for probably another 3, 4, 5 years.
Nah, boy, Jay-Z ain't having that. You're gonna get it.
No, I do think we will, because I just don't see Coldplay doing Atlanta again. And Atlanta's in 3 years. Ain't no way they about to let that happen again. I think they'll let them get away. I don't know where's the next Super Bowl.
Who got a new stadium? Vegas, right?
Vegas is Vegas was just last year.
Okay.
So it's got to whoever it is, because the Mercedes-Benz Bowl's already been one anyway. That was the Super Bowl between the Rams and the Patriots.
Yeah.
That was in the Benz Bowl. So I think Atlanta's had it then. I want to say Atlanta may have it somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. They're normally
San
announced it
Francisco.
after San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Santa Clara.
next year, yeah, San Francisco. I can see that being in a area like. I can see that being like somewhere where they have more of a in between style artist.
I think we're gonna get a white artist next year.
Yeah, I think you can probably get some more Caucasianly focused, or not just a big pop artist. Like I can see them doing Taylor Swift next year. Like you know what I'm saying? I can see them doing somebody like that next year, right? But I don't. Yeah, but Atlanta they ain't getting no. They may bring out Future. I don't know.
That would go crazy.
I don't know, but yeah, it's yeah. I just
because it seemed like to me more of a award show performance than a Super Bowl performance. Like you saying, for a Super Bowl performance, you got to be entertaining. You got to have people all they see like you can't just be like, oh, well, I'm gonna put together this content. Like it was more of a award show or vibe, not than a Super Bowl. Like Usher last year, there was a performance. You know what I'm saying? Like Snoop Dogg now when they bring in Mary out, Eminem, everybody was in their living room like, man, whoa, you just ain't get that vibe. It was just like, oh, I feel like I was at the Grammys or the MTV Awards.
Yeah, and I agree, man. That's what I said about. I was having this conversation with somebody, I think the other day. I was like, an example I did use was Usher. Like, man, like Usher performance was a performance. And he did his majority of his catalog, and I don't know how long. I thought it was longer than 12, 13 minutes. It felt like it was like 20. Like it felt like it was a very long performance, and we were fully engaged. And I just didn't. I just wasn't engaged with it. To me, and to kind of jump on what you just said, also, Key, is I actually thought that performance was more of a concert. Like when him and SZA go perform, I could see him doing that type of show there, and I'll be fully engaged at a concert, right? Because it should be a part of one of your sets of a 2-hour show, 2 hours, almost 3-hour show. The performance for 13 minutes at the Super Bowl, I just wasn't really engaged like that. Like, yeah, and I wasn't really. I didn't. Even when we were talking about, Not Like Us, I wasn't really sitting back on my couch waiting for the song to come on. Like, I didn't care. Like, it wasn't like it's just one of those songs where you just be like it's a good song, but I'm like, why am I sitting at home just waiting for this song to come on? Like, I really don't. I think people just adding it up a little bit more because of the Drake beef. And I'm like, okay, bro, the Drake beef's kind of over. Like, I don't care anymore.
I think at that time he didn't lost the crowd at that point. Like, people at this point like, dog, just get off the stage. When he played the Not Like Us. But, it was decent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, always next year. All right, man. Let's get to some NBA action. Let's talk about the NBA All-Star Weekend that started as of Friday night. Today's Sunday, which is normally the last game, the big game, which I never watched, by the way. Not gonna watch it this year.
You said that about the dunk contest, your ass as well.
I didn't know. I was flipping the channel, and there was nothing else on. But I didn't realize that Cobra Kai had reissued out back on Netflix, so I'll be watching that. I'll be watching those 6 episodes. That's what I'll be doing. So I'll be watching that. I'd rather watch Danielson and the Danielson dojo than watch that going on. I'm pretty sure I can find something on Netflix and watch something. I'd rather watch Housewives of Potomac than watch a game, man, because I am not into that game at all. So let's talk about it, man. Like, what so far, we talked about this last week. Key, you wasn't part of last week's show, but we just talked about what they can do to improve it, and it's already for a failure in my mind. Number one, the coming out the gate, it's already been an issue. They had to, I guess, ban or disqualify the Wembley and Chris Paul on the skills challenge event because they cheated. Yeah, they just threw the ball up and just try to go by time. So, like, Key, man, what do you think of the All-Star weekend? Because you weren't here last week. What do you think of All-Star? What do they need to do with this thing? Because this thing is just getting ridiculous.
Yeah, bro. It's just, I was saying this weekend, like, if you really, really didn't pick it, you wouldn't even know it's All-Star weekend. Like, back in the day, bro, that was a huge thing. You look forward to the All-Star weekend. And, like, damn, is it All-Star weekend? And I just feel like, you know, what they can do is it's on the players, man. They done tried everything. They done tried picking players, doing like you on the backyard, I pick the gym, then they did the east, back to the east and the west. It's on the players at this point, bro. Back in the day, like players like AI, Kobe, KG, all them dudes was in it to put on, like, to go at your throat. It wasn't like giving up layups. Bro, it's a dunk contest, or you scoring points from 180 to 175. It's just like these players, bro, it's not as more competitive than, players are, I hate to say it like that. And you're starting to see the NBA get watered down, bro. Like, it's sometimes now it's getting hard to watch games, bro. All these 3-point shots, 3-on-1 break, stop and shooting a three. I just feel like the players made the All-Star, when competitive, and because they was gonna play defense. They might, first quarter, you might be feeling each other out, but once, second quarter to the fourth quarter, shit got real. And I just think now the players, bro, just all about their brand. People don't want to get in the dunk contest no more. You got a G League player winning the dunk contest every year, bro. And just these generations, like, they just too cool for school, bro, and everybody about their brand. Everybody's worried about losing. I don't want to compete in the dunk contest. I don't want to compete in the 3-point contest. So the competitive edge just has left basketball when it comes to the All-Star weekend. That's what it is.
He said it all best. Yeah, cats just don't want to do it no more, bro. Like, whether they want to get hurt, no competitiveness. Is that who's that young leader that's gonna say, look, bro, we playing D today. I can just make that stamp. But yeah, it just lacks the competitiveness. It lacks the star power, especially the dunk contest. They might as well move the dunk contest after the skills and make the 3-point contest kind of like highlight of Saturday night. And Monday for the game, bro. They have tried everything, so they're gonna try today to, like, 2-on-2, 5-on-5, and then have the rising star who won that on Friday play against the other team. So the NBA trying. I know the ratings are down, but at the end of the day, people still gonna watch the NBA. It's after the football season, so I expect the numbers to go up. But it definitely lacks the star power, and it lacks the competitiveness because these cats just don't want to do it no more.
Man, listen, right now the best thing for them was the HBCU the game. I heard the HBCU game was packed to the rafters.
It looked like it was crowded.
Tuskegee versus Morehouse. My sister was there, by the way. Flew all the way out of DC down there for that game, and that's huge for one HBCUs, for the NBA and their involvement with HBCUs, and it also shows that, when the right support, the right marketing, and really the right two teams that want to face each other, you get a huge crowd of supporters there. That's probably another audience that you wouldn't have at the All-Star weekend that you normally have. And I think that game was played in Oakland. I don't even think it was played in San Francisco. I'm not totally sure. I got to ask that question, but that's huge, right? That's a better play for the NBA. But anything else, bro, I just don't care. The 3-point shootout was even that. I love Buddy. Buddy Hield did a good job in third round, but I needed him to do that in the final round, because the final round it would look better, him dropping that 31 piece, because the crowd would have went crazy. But that's probably the best event. I think last year they had the WNBA player versus the NBA player Steph Curry versus Kim. Is it Kim? Oh no, is it
Nestle.
Nestle? Is it her first name is
Nestle.
I want to say is
Sabrina.
Sabrina. Yeah. Sabrina. Yeah, that was cool. I like that. But she's like no this year. I like watching the WNBA All-Star Weekend better. They compete harder. They go after each other. You can tell they're trying to win. Not trying to be malicious or hurt each other, but they're trying to win. It just means more to them. Even their skill challenges in this a little bit better. I'm watching what they're doing with this new 3-on-3 league, and then they just went to like a one-on-one battle. That's something that you should really follow. It's a good model. The model's out there for the NBA if they want to really give this weekend a new look. And I would prefer them just start looking into it because right now, from what I'm seeing, I'm just not interested in paying attention to what's going on with the NBA. And like I said before yesterday, I was texting on our group chat. I watched the slam dunk contest. I would flip it to something else. But it was even when I watched some of it, like the Bulls player, I mean, what was he doing? Like what was he doing, man? Like, and then they just got beat for the third time from Mac McClung. Is he still in the G League? I thought he's with the Orlando Magic now.
He on the two-way.
He on the two-way. This dude beat him again. He done made more money off the slam dunk contest than his actual base salary. That's crazy. That's actually crazy that he keeps winning, man, and they keep losing. And I just seen a post the other day for John Morant, like last night, saying, "Hey, he makes me want to dunk."
Boy, Cap.
Stop, bro. You just know this not gonna happen. Like we can only wish that him, Zion, Zach LaVine, maybe Aaron Gordon jumps back in. But those dudes are older players now, so they're probably
older,
like, nah.
They older.
Yeah.
But I see LeBron started this whole trend, bro, where you can participate in dunk contest. There is, you know what I'm saying? And like John Morant, Zion, bro, why y'all ain't never do it, bro? And it's like, I just think it's coming like the Pro Bowl, bro, where it's gonna be unwatchable and people are not even gonna watch it.
Mm.
That's what we get in Pro Bowl, the NFL Pro Bowl. That's how the NBA all started turning into, bro. I remember back in the day, bro, everybody be like, bro, you trying to even go to All-Star Weekend. Like, you just want to be in the city where the All-Star Weekend is happening. Like, nobody even cares, bro.
Yeah, it's not what it used to be. It's just not. And the events, and we'll jump into maybe should think about canceling it. But I missed the question that I meant to run through you guys fairly quickly. Ray, you start this off because I did miss this one. Kellen Moore decision to take the Saints job. How y'all feel about it?
It's a great opportunity. Dude's a great mind. He's been an OC for a very long time. His offense has been, putting up numbers, whether he's with Dallas, with the Chargers, Philly, he had, a prolific offensive. He was able to adapt from a pass-first guy in Philly. When he got the field, a pass-first guy, just running, getting Saquon. So it's a great opportunity for him. A lot of these coaches, bro, has declined interviews with the Saints, and you're only going to get this opportunity for 32 times, bro. And for you to be able to triple your salary, be one of 32, you never know when you're hot now. You may not be hot tomorrow. Look at Dorsey. He was hot with Buffalo. Next season, he gets fired. So it's a great opportunity for him, and I'm looking forward to see what he can do. I think he's with a franchise that's patient. The Saints is not going to just fire him after 2-3 years. So we'll see what he do. He got a tough hill to climb with the roster, aging, salary cap issues. But we see in NFL, man, you can turn it around quick. You just got to be a keen-eyed player development and evaluation, and you got to hit on your draft picks. And we got to see that. But I think it's a good hire. But we'll see, man.
Key, what's your thoughts?
Dude, he worked his way to being a head coach. He had success, like Ray said, with the offense. Saints offense definitely been struggling for the last few years. Putting up points, just creativity. see it can see how he can help Derek Carr. He can get him to playing at a high level. Definitely Saints in a rebuild mode. He'll have opportunity to bring his staff in and players and draft the type of players he want. But it's gonna start off from the top with the Saints, bro, with the GM drafting players, getting rid of all this dead, over the cap money. We're gonna have to get rid of some of these veteran players and bro, just try to rebuild for the next, 1-2 years. But it always starts with the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? How can he help Derek Carr grow next year? Because if you've got a good quarterback play, you can win games. Even if your roster is not the most talented in the NFL, because we saw that with Washington this year. Washington didn't have an all-star roster, but they had great quarterback play, and it motivates because everybody can play in the NFL. When you feel like you got a leader that you can win game with, it elevate everybody else play, from the coaches to the players, play over they talent. So it's just gonna depend on how can he make Derek Carr better next year. That should be his main goal.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question: do you think that he can? Do you gonna have enough time for him to be able to rebuild? Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I think he's gonna have 2 years. Y'all gonna get him out of there.
No.
I don't think he's gonna survive 2 years. I just don't see, for what I've seen from the Saints. Now, granted, you had a coach for 15 years, right? Who was was a great offensive mind, but also he set the environment there. Like, he's the reason why the Saints are evaluated the way they are today, right? Like, listen, at the end of the day, you used to be the Aints for years, and then Sean came in and changed the culture. He started a new culture there. Now you guys actually do things year in, year out. You have a chance to win a championship because of what he did there. But then now that he's gone, it hasn't been the same as far as that culture. So what do you think? Like, I don't think if he doesn't, because it's going to be either him or Mickey Loomis at some point eventually. It's got to be, because it's no way that you can have him and Mickey Loomis there at the same time, and Mickey Loomis is making all the decisions. And you're already a minus 51 million in the over the cap. Like, you're already over the cap, $51 million, if not 52. So he's gonna have to go, or the coach has to go. And they've already said by not firing Mickey Loomis that they're gonna keep him. So if he doesn't, so if the team's off for next year, right? How much leeway they gonna give him? 2-3 years to change it over?
Give him the whole contract term, because you have to. It's what your expectations of your team. You have an aging team. You got to somehow flip the roster, get younger. You have to hit on the QB situation. Derek got 1 more year. You have to figure out whether Spencer Rattler is the guy to draft a QB this year. Like, they have to get better at that depth. The Saints is not an impatient organization, and Mickey is not an impatient GM, because he know his job is secure, so he don't have to make rational decisions to try to get the right coach to save his job. Mickey not going nowhere. He's like in the will and in the state, so he ain't going nowhere. And then you got a passive owner in Gail Benson, who's not going to be one of those owners like, we got to get it right in a couple of years and be impatient. So I think it's at least 4 years. Dennis Allen lasted 3 or 4 years. So,
but is that 3 years with new quarterback?
He's gonna have. I think this is Derek Carr. They'll bring Derek Carr back, because I think it's just with the cap situation plus his dead money. If they cut him, I just think it'd be too much. So you bring Derek Carr back for 1 year, but you got to evaluate Spencer Rattler to see if he's the guy, or you draft a QB this year and let them two guys compete. But you got to give them time, bro. It just you can't be making these decisions after 2 years. You keep setting your team back. Like, it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
I think you got to let him at least do his full contract out, because right now we Saints have no expectation of now to win a Super Bowl. Right now the thing is to be trying to change the culture, get back to winning, and finding those players how we was hitting in the draft early when we was winning. The Lattimores, the Micah Thomas, the Colston and those type of players. Give me, but you got to start getting Derek Carr this 1 year. He don't do nothing this year. You got to get rid of him and try to find you a franchise quarterback. So, and
yeah. Oh, listen, you'll have an opportunity to maybe get back to the days if we don't win next year, because I think he was your deputy GM. He'll be back in New Orleans real soon. And if we don't get into the playoffs and win the division next year, he's gonna be back there real soon. I tell you that for sure. If he don't drive a DN, active, great DN in the first round of this draft, if he go draft some type of position player, and he don't drive a linebacker, somebody that's a game changer on defense, oh yeah, he'll be right there. Yeah, we'll be. He don't get the kid from Penn State or somebody that's good. He'll be there. Shout out to him. Terry friend, Terry, what's the what name? What's the man name? You call him what? Frenchon or whatever friend.
I don't know what's up there, right?
Other French. Anyway, he gonna be there. I can guarantee he'll be back in New Orleans.
So?
Helping you guys with the what's the name, because I ain't trying to hear it. All right, let's get back to the NBA to talk that we were talking about just a little bit earlier. All right, kind of our last question with the NBA, man. When we talk about the future of the All-Star Weekend, is it time to cancel it? We kind of jumped on it a little bit, but you talked about it a little bit, Key, just a minute ago when you were studying on this. That it's just not the same anymore. Should there be some change or some maybe just think about just canceling it in totality? I mean, the NFL figured out they were making a mistake when they moved it from the Pro Bowl from Hawaii to Orlando, and then they figured out that the game was just trash and nobody's watching it anymore. So they made it more of a 7-on-7 type of game and changed the structure. And people kind of watched that a little bit more than just watching the game they had when they actually had playing football out there. So what should happen, Key? I mean, what's your thoughts? What should happen moving forward from here?
Ray, go ahead on this, and I'm gonna hop in. I'm got something going on right now.
Yeah, I just think, man, it's an honor to these players make it, especially the younger players. I wouldn't cancel it. I mean, just keep tweaking, man. Keep tweaking until you find it and get it right. You got a lot of community service stuff that's being done over the weekend. The fans get to really see their teams maybe at a cheaper price, maybe from Friday night or the Saturday practice. Just things like that, man. So I wouldn't cancel it, man. Just too many other things that go on with All-Star Weekend. Keep tweaking it, bro, until you get it right. Don't give up, don't quit. You just got to keep tweaking until you find the right formula to get the audience to be more, back engaged. But at the end of the day, if the players aren't engaged, then you continue to have a watered down product. So just keep tweaking, man. Don't cancel it, bro.
Well, I see that, Keon's working on something. So I'll chime in right now. Yeah, I think they do need to tweak it out, make some adjustments here and there. I mean, because to me, it's still a huge business, a huge economy boost. And the networking opportunities there and the things you can position yourself in as far as business communication and collaboration is still mega. Right, it still has purpose outside of just the game. But the fact they got to do something about the game, and there's no you can't incentivize the players anymore that you already have. I mean, you boosted up the money, you boosted up these opportunities, you boosted up so many different things. If they just don't see the value in it, then at this point, it's tried to strip the entire format away. Right, like let's stop this fan voting crap anymore. Right, like okay, let's cut it out. Like you don't need to get automatic because the fan vote added with players vote added with that, and you get that automatic. Let's say, you know what? Let's strip all that away. Let's start from the bases again. Are you good enough to get in? Are you not? We'll vote on that factor, and that's it. Like it's the fans here, the fans. No, let's start scrapping things away and taking some of these opportunities to really put players who want to play in there. Because enough's enough. Like, and you can't keep doing this. As the score goes to this score, that's M game. I'm tired of all that. I'm just it's time to scrap the whole strategy of it and just go to a different perspective, because that's where we're at with this, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, they just need cats that's hungry. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Matt McClung, he's hungry, though. And maybe you can get some of these G leaguers that are very athletic and dunk and incentivize the teams, maybe give them the second round pick if the cat win the dunk contest, give them a roster spot, like just to kind of make it like interesting for people to want to watch and root for these underdogs. But until they can
I
start
don't know.
on Saturday
That seems
night,
like a little. That sounds like a little much, though. That doesn't
I mean,
sound.
you got to find something to incentivize, or like I said, they already giving them a ton of money. Like, what more can you give them? But they're gonna keep tweaking, man. Like, but it's too big of a business, too big of a weekend, not only just for the NBA, the community and the city that they're in. It's just too big to be canceled.
And because they done tried different things. They done tried the charity thing. They done tried. Uh, I don't know what else they can do, like other than, one thing too. The fan voting. They should have a small percentage. I know it's for the fan. Sometimes you might got to get some of these players in here, these young players who are hungry, that's gonna compete, than just the names. I don't know, but then the fans want to see the names. They're in a tough situation, and they're just gonna have to come to the players, where the players gonna take pride and be like, bro, let's you know what, let's just go compete. I ain't saying we gotta hurt each other, but don't get out the way. Just let it do a 360 dunk. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the whole thing coming to let the person win MVP because it's in your city. Like, nah, let's compete. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna have to come down to that. But like Ray said, it's gonna be hard to cancel it because it's about business, and they make a lot of money. The All-Star Weekend, the hotels in these cities, the people are flying out. A lot of players, and their contract is on incentive. If they make the All-Star games, become an All-Star. So it's just gonna be on the players. The players got to be competitive. It shouldn't be like football. You ain't out there tackling nobody where you can't compete. At least in the the second half of the quarter, make it close, and then you compete. So it's gonna come to the players. But if not, bro, they're gonna start losing a lot of viewerships. And because right now, for me, even with basketball, you don't see that fire, that hatred. Back then, bro, those players hated teams, bro. When it came down to it, like, bro, we're not friends. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no, you know what I'm saying? Like the Knicks and the Bulls back in the day, one or two people gonna get clotheslined. Detroit Pistons, Chicago. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that. You don't have that in the thing no more. And I don't know if it's probably due to the AAU stuff. You know what I'm saying? You've been knowing people since you've been young, but one of these generations have to get back to competing. And bro, bro, I don't like you. I don't like the uniform you wear. I don't like the colors. We just don't have what rivalry in the NBA that we have now, like we had with the Boston and LA, Chicago and Detroit, or Chicago Knicks. You know what I'm saying? You can't even tell me a real rivalry that bro, it's gonna be good TV. I can't miss that game. You don't
Yeah,
have
you're
it.
right. Yeah, you're right. There is none.
Yeah, man. It's just they gotta figure something out. It's not my problem. I ain't gotta be worried about it, but it is something where they need to do. They need some form of change here because it's just not working. All right, before we get out of here,
They had the charity, I think they got after it a little bit when they got crunch time. Playing for the charities a few years ago.
I don't recall that, but I think your word for it. I'm not totally sure that.
But I think that's where they had to get like a certain mark, like a certain point, and then they was a little competitive in that one, but like they're just gonna keep trying, bro.
It just seems like it's the same adjectives to me. At some point, when a new generation comes in, the less concern they have with that game. So, but before we get out of here, let me just ask one quick question. Did anybody see the new state that runs the college basketball, Alabama? Did y'all, not the new state, but the state of Alabama runs college basketball, play against each other the other day?
Oh,
like, you know what I mean?
Auburn look good.
Yeah, I had to give it up to him, man. I think, well, it helped that Mark Spears continues to keep playing awful at times. when they need them to play a lot better. And Grant Nelson really didn't do anything proactive in that game that helped. But anyway, the Auburn, I think 100% you can say they are the number one team in the nation. They deserve that their recognition that they are the best team. They did beat Bama at Bama. And so, but it's interesting that, these two schools and the SEC, we need to talk about it really quickly, especially with Key on here, how the SEC has got so much, so many teams, so many quality teams. Yeah. Cool. I mean, because a lot of those teams going to be fighting for the number one, Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt's been playing. Vanderbilt beat Tennessee and Kentucky. It's a lot. It's one of those leagues that you got to play well every single game, because if you don't, you will lose. Just give me your thoughts, like key starters. Give me your thoughts on what you've been seeing, especially knowing that you just saw 1-2 first time, and it's amazing. Bruce Pearl was part of the last one, but it's been the first 1-2 since 2008. And against each other playing on a floor, which is the crazy part. It may happen again with Alabama, or if Auburn still stays, Alabama stays at the top, or even another team. It may happen again. So give me your thoughts, Key.
Yeah, it's good, man, that at one point we were talking about the college basketball men was you ready to see the women play than the men. So this year has been very competitive. You got a lot of good teams where you got a few teams that can win it all. It's gonna be very good in the tournaments. Like I don't know if we ever saw like SEC. We always saw the SEC. Had good teams, but you ain't never seen that conference where all these teams like in the top 10 in the SEC. Nothing that's like the ACC, these other divisions. And big shout out to Auburn and Alabama. Auburn been recruiting well for the last, they've been up there for the last maybe 5-6 years where, but they get into the tournament and they flame out. You can see now that they are hungry, because the last year I think was a disappointing season for Auburn. A lot of people I forgot who they lost to. A lot of people had them kind of like winning the tournament in the Final Four. So I just think now, bro, men's basketball is back with, where, again, that the NBA is missing. They're competing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. A lot of players are actually staying a little longer, too, I think, because the NIL money, too. You ain't getting those ones. You got a few that, be one and done. But for the most part, now you start getting players to stay 2-3 years, that probably would have jumped in the lead and you never would have heard from them again. Just think, ago. So I just feel like it's more competitive. These kids want to compete, and the top programs are back where they should be. And I'm just looking forward to the tournament, March Madness, the ACC tournament, SEC tournament. Like the other day, you had Clemson who beat Duke. So I just feel like it's going to be a great tournament, and I just love the way they are competing.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting with the SEC, man. They got at least 7 teams in the top 25, and then when it comes SEC tournament, who's gonna get the 1-2 seed? Like, cause they're so deep and they're beating up on each other. It's amazing. But man, I want to give Bruce Pearl. Bruce Pearl, bro, is one of the greatest coaches up there that never won a title, bro. He's done it at Auburn. He's done it at Tennessee. Like, he always have great teams, man. Him. Calvin, your boy Sampson over at Houston, a great coach. They just haven't been over the hump, but it's going to be a great March Madness. The SEC is a barn burner, just like we always talk about the SEC in football. They're getting like that in basketball. They beat up on each other, great depth. And, it's a good product. Like you said, the NIL is allowing these kids now to stay an extra year, extra 2 years, to continue to develop on their game while making some money as well. But, yeah, man, the SEC is a bloodbath.
Yeah, it was incredible. I was frustrated watching yesterday's game. I ain't gonna lie. I was just like, man, I was getting frustrated. Then they came back. I was like, okay, man, just get one little play. You get 2 possessions in a row, you'll win that game. But Auburn's tough. the one thing that Bruce Pearl team is going to do, they don't have to be the greatest offensive team, but they hit big shots. They always hit big shots, and they play great defense. And they're gonna make you earn every single basket. So if you don't shoot the three well, it's gonna be a tough game for you. You have to shoot the three well. But I enjoyed it. I've been watching all of the SEC games. I catch myself watching Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Like I said, like we just talked about Kentucky, Vanderbilt's playing well. Missouri is also a tournament team. There's just no weak teams. I mean, even South Carolina, who's like 0-11, they play well. They've been in games. They just don't have enough to win. And that's just part of what's going on. I think they're the worst team. I mean, even Georgia has snuck out some games. You have Arkansas that pulled some games. LSU, competes. They're not winning, but they're competing. It's just one of those things. This is maybe one of I'm not sure if this is gonna ever happen again, but it's just incredible to see this many really good teams in one league at one time going after each other. So the SEC championship tournament is gonna be a bloodbath too. So but I like some of the other teams. Houston, you talked about them, really good. Duke's playing well. I do think Hubert Davis is gonna get fired though. Yeah, he gonna get fired though. Like the way I be watching that team play, I just be like, "But you gonna get fired." Like it ain't a matter. It's a matter of time because North Carolina ain't gonna keep having this average play happening with that team. And then he got Jackson coming off the bench. I'm like, why is he coming off the bench? I just don't get it. So yeah, he's gonna get fired.
Hell, St. John's even rolling.
Oh, St. John. Oh yeah, Ripatino got them rolling. Got them really rolling. That game, the craziest game. I watched the end of the game. Seton Hall against UConn. That game, they were up by Seton Hall was down by 7 with 26 seconds left, and came back and won the game in overtime. It was insane. It was insane. So UConn's losing a lot of games that they won last year too, right? When the teams they blew out. So what happens when you got to you don't have that older team, you got to now invest in younger players, and it's very inconsistent. So it's interesting how it's going out about when it comes to UConn. But man, I've been enjoying it. It's been a fun ride watching a lot of these teams play. Also, shout out to Juju. You know what I mean? Shout out to Juju. Juju, the bun cold, bro. The bun is absolutely cold. Juju just don't play. Juju took over that game the other day.
Did they win?
Yeah. Here's another thing. It was this NBC, ESPN. Why was that on primary TV? Why that was on cable or whatever? Why was that on primary channel? Man, I had to watch that on Peacock. I was like, I almost went crazy watching that damn thing on Peacock, man. That's ridiculous. Why am I watching this on Peacock? I mean, that's an elite game. UCLA #1 against USC, SC. Come on, man. I should be watching this on no goddamn Peacock, bro.
Yeah, I didn't even know about the game. I saw everybody posting her points. I'm like, why that shit wasn't on ESPN?
I have no idea. That thing was on Peacock. I was watching it on Peacock, like, bro, it's supposed to be NBC Sports. And I have NBC Sports. I'm looking for it. It's not on there. I'm like, they got some dog competition going on. I was like, what is this? So then I flip it, and I noticed it was on Peacock. I was like, this is on Peacock. And so I'm watching on Peacock, and I caught the second half, and she had already had 25 at that point, and in the first half. So, and she dropped like 13, but she didn't do much in the third quarter. But she didn't do much in the fourth, but she led them in the third. I mean, she did everything she wanted to do in the third quarter, man. So it was absolutely a great performance. She's cold. She's the best in women's sports. But she's gonna have a handful because UCLA is not bad. They're a really good team.
Good team.
Like, it took a lot for her. It took 35. She had 8 blocks.
Yeah,
it took a lot for her to win that game because that inside the girl that played center, she bad. She tough. She can play. She can play. Yeah. She good, bro. She is good, and it's a lot. And so and a lot of things happen in and even in SEC. Texas girls are playing well. They going out knocking down people. They beat when they beat South Carolina today. They beat Kentucky. So
they got LSU today. I think at 4 o'clock. I think 3:30 or 4.
I think it comes on after UConn play.
South
South
Carolina.
Carolina. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a bunch of games loaded up today. Especially on the women's side, it's going to be real good to watch. But man, I was watching Juju. Juju cold, bro. Juju hella her business out there. She don't play no games. She got the crowd packed. She got everybody in the building. I can't wait to they play each other in March. So I can't wait to see SC against UCLA again. Because those are really two good teams, bro. And it's gonna define who wins the Pac-12 or Pac-10 or wherever they are. No, the Big Ten.
Women's in good hands, bro. Women's sports are in great hands right now.
They're not the Pac anything, they're the Big Ten. So it'll define who wins the Big Ten between them.
Yeah, Big Ten.
That's crazy. I wonder where they're gonna have the first tournament at. Is it in LA? Is it gonna be in Chicago like they normally have it? Like where they gonna have it?
Might be Central. It's gonna be flying regardless for the West Coast teams. Something
crazy.
central.
That's crazy. You gotta play. You're in Los Angeles, California. You gotta go play in like Maryland. You playing in Rutgers. Like that's insane, dog. That's insane that you're playing like that. That's all about money play. But shout out to them because I really was impressed with how these games have been playing. They're coming down to the last second. Teams don't really have to go at each other. Some of them girls in the women game are tall too, man. Like, so all right, man. So any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
Great show. Welcome to the show, man.
Glad to be back, bro.
He be busy, man. Keep been posting his Sagittarius quotes these days. So
I don't
know what's going on with Keith. Keith subliminally talking to somebody.
I just be liking the post, bro.
This dude just liking the post
like
and reposting me like, yo, you feeling some type of way about something. You trying to learn some people, man.
Sagittarius vibes, Keith?
Hey, I don't know what's going. Somebody he trying to protect his peace, man. So. Yeah, let you know.
That's my disrespect, Sagittarius, bro.
Hey, you on mute, bro.
I said I just like the post I saw. I'm a Sag, though. Like,
oh man, nothing wrong. We Sag, we stick together, man. I always tell people like Sags are the funnest, loving people in the world till you bother us. Then you bother us, we need our distance. We're like, all right, bro. We need. Can you leave? Like we got things to do. We really be like, hey man. We have social media. Like our social media go on so high to a certain degree, and then once it hits that point, it shuts off. It completely shuts off. Like I be like, all right, bro. I ain't gotta be around people for a couple of days. Like I'm good. So yeah, it's just like that. Yeah, Sorry people who hate it. Oh well. All right, man. Any final thoughts, Ray? Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Great show, man. Keep following us, man. Keep pumping up social media. Make sure y'all go to your favorite podcast platform, YouTube. Click that subscribe and download button.
Yeah, I noticed there's been a couple more subscribers these days.
YouTube have 22 views on episode 21.
Yeah, man, I saw that, man. Like I was like, okay, must be my mom, my cousin. Must be like, you know what I mean? That's what it must be. Like, okay, cuz I finally found it, huh? Y'all figured it out, auntie, all them.
How many it went up to?
22 views on this last show. We rolling.
Yeah, man. So I was like, yeah, man, it must be my mom. She probably started again, restarted, didn't realize. She's like, I didn't hear that part. Let me see that part, and that's that, you got 10 views because she done did it 4 or 5 times in a row. So, that's how it works, Just get your family members to look at it a couple of times, then also we look like we doing something right there. That's how it works. That's to get the algorithm going. Get that old algorithm going, man. All right, man. If there's nothing else, Ray, get us out of here.
We out.